Welcome to the channel, guys. Today I have 3 allegedly true stories from Reddit for you guys. I think they're good today. If you have any thoughts or recommendations on what I should do next, please let me know in the comments below. And please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. It would really help me out. Alright, guys, let's get into it.
When I was 12, a girl I knew answered a knock at her front door because she thought it was her mom. It wasn't. And what the police found inside the house afterwards is still something I think about to this day. When I was about 10, I moved in with my dad. I didn't know anyone in the area except for this one family my dad was friends with. It was a single mom with 3 kids, including a girl who was a couple years older than apparently had a specific way of knocking when she came home. And for whatever reason, my friend thought that was her. There was just one problem. Rob wasn't supposed to be there, so the second they heard the knock, he panicked. Instead of sticking around, he climbed out the window and ran out the back door. He had no idea what he just escaped, because the person standing outside wasn't my friend's mom. It was a woman the family had never expected to show up at their house. Apparently, my friend's mom had been helping another woman through her work. That woman had a sister who recently been released from the mental institution. However, through conversations with her sister, this woman learned where the family lived. But even more terrifying, she apparently knew when their mom would be at work. After Rob left, my friend opened the door. What happened next is something I'm glad I don't know every detail of. Her younger brother somehow managed to escape the house. He ran to a neighbor and called the police, but his sister didn't make it out. She was murdered just 1 week before Christmas. When the police searched the house, they found the scene that no family should ever have to see. My friend's body had been left in the bathtub. She had been decapitated and her head was missing. Police had to search the house for it, including around the family's Christmas presents. Eventually, they found it. I was only 12 years old when this happened, and I wasn't even allowed to attend her funeral. And the part that has stayed with me is now normal that the night started. 3 kids hanging out in a house, a knock at the door, a friend sneaking out because he thought he might get caught, a girl opening the door. And because she thought it was her mom who had come home, she had no idea who was actually standing on the other side.
I still can't explain the voice I heard inside my house that night. But the creepiest part, my dog reacted to it too. So I had just gotten home from work and was sitting in my bedroom on the second floor. My brother was downstairs watching TV, and our dog was asleep in the hallway right next to my door. Everything was completely normal until suddenly my dog just starts going crazy. She's jumping around, barking and howling. I can hear her nails clicking against the floor outside of my room, but she doesn't sound scared. She sounds excited, like someone she has known just showed up. So I started getting up to see what was going on. Then suddenly, I hear a man's voice from right outside my bedroom. As clear as a day, it goes, "Aw, that's a good girl." And at first, I don't even think anything of it. I assume our roommate must have gotten home early. So I literally call out, "Oh, you're home early." And as I open my bedroom door, but the second I step into the hallway, there's nobody there. The entire hallway is empty. The only thing I see is my dog, standing there, just wagging her tail, staring directly towards the empty end of the hallway, like she'd just been looking at someone. Now I'm confused, because I know I heard that voice. It sounded like someone was just standing a few feet away from my door. But I start thinking, maybe I'm tired. Maybe I somehow imagined it. But then, my little brother comes upstairs, and he's annoyed. He starts asking me, why I'm getting the dog all worked up. And I looked at him and said, I'm not. And that's when we both realized something was seriously wrong because he heard it too. He heard the same man's voice from downstairs. He thought it was either me or our roommate. I thought it was our roommate, except I was alone in my bedroom. My brother was downstairs, and our roommate, he wasn't even home. So now we're thinking somebody might actually be inside our house. We grabbed whatever we could find to protect ourselves. We searched the entire place, every room, every corner, everywhere. Nothing. There was nobody in that house. And to this day, I still can't explain what happened. Because maybe if I was the only one who had heard that voice, I could convince myself I imagined it. But I didn't. My brother heard it too. And that isn't even what creeps me out the most. It's my dog. Because right when I opened that bedroom door, she wasn't scared, she wasn't growling, she wasn't trying to hide, but she was wagging her tail and staring at an empty hallway, like someone she recognized was right there. So whatever said, "Oh, that's a good girl," we couldn't see it, but I'm still not like. There are two things that happened in my childhood home that I still can't explain to this day. I grew up in a house in Brentwood, Long Island. My dad was a taxi driver at the time, so he worked a lot of late nights and would usually come home early in the morning. Whenever I was awake, I'd try to run over and greet him. One Saturday morning, I was sitting in the living room watching cartoons, and it was about 6 a.m., and I hear my dad come through the door. So, like always, I run over and say hello. We're standing there talking when suddenly, from my parents' bedroom, we hear my mom call out, "Hello, honey. Don't go into the pool. It's not ready yet." It sounded exactly like her. My dad and I both heard it, and at first, neither of us thought anything was wrong. We actually thought it was kind of weird. I mean, it was only 6 in the morning. Obviously, we weren't going to go swimming, but we both just brushed it off. My dad started telling me his usual stories about all the crazy people he picked up in his taxi the night before. And then we realized something. It's Saturday. My mom works on Saturdays. She wasn't even in the bedroom. She wasn't even home. It was just me and my dad, alone in the house. We both heard my mom's voice come from that bedroom, and neither of us could explain it. But that wasn't even the last strange thing that happened there. We only recently moved into this house, and a couple weeks later, some of our new neighbors came over to welcome us to the neighborhood. There were a bunch of kids with them, two boys and two little girls. One of the girls had blonde hair, and the other was a quiet little brunette girl. She was really shy. I don't remember her saying much at all. Eventually, all of us kids started playing soccer outside, but after a while, I noticed something. The little brunette girl was gone. I couldn't see her anywhere. So, being the curious kid I was, I decided to go looking for her. I walked around the property everywhere until I eventually found her. She was by herself, playing near the woods behind the house. And if you knew, these woods were not something a little kid should be wandering around alone. So I walked over to her and she asked me if I wanted to play tag. And I told her no, but only because I had to go get everyone else so we could all play. So I ran back to the group and I asked the other kids if they'd wanted to come play tag with us. Everyone just looked at me and they asked me what I was talking about. So I explained and told them the little brunette girl, she was over by the woods. And that's when one of the mothers looked at me, completely confused, and said, "We only have one daughter." I remember just standing there because that didn't make any sense. I had just watched her come over with everyone. I had just seen her outside. I had just talked to her. She literally just asked me to play tag, but according to everyone else, there was no little brunette girl. And then we learned something about that house we just moved into. About 10 years before, A little brunette girl drowned in our pool. Her mother reportedly passed away sometimes afterwards from a heart attack, and suddenly I couldn't stop but think what happened a couple weeks earlier, that morning at 6 a.m., when my dad and I both heard my mom's voice coming from that empty bedroom. And of all the things the voice could have said to us, it said, "Don't go in the pool."